Okay, digital versus film. It's an age-old debate. Well, not really that old, but you know what I mean. Some directors in Hollywood still prefer film over digital. What do you prefer? What do you think is best? Anyway, for those of you who don't really know about the difference between film and digital, let me give you a quick little history. Well, filmmaking has been around since the 1800s, right? But according to history, the first public showing of movies, motion pictures, moving images wasn't until 1895 by the Lumiere brothers in Paris. That was, for all intents and purposes, the first movie theater because they actually had people come out there and pay to watch their movies. They showed 10 films. All of them were under 60 seconds. That's where we got our first movie theater. Cool. Now let's fast forward to digital filmmaking. The technology has been around since the 80s, maybe even the 70s, but it didn't really take off until 1999 when Star Wars decided to shoot Episode 1, Phantom Menace, completely on digital. Before that, directors mostly were still using film. But guess what? By 2016, more than 90% of the top grossing films in the theaters was shot on digital. And thanks in part to companies like Red with their digital cameras, there was really no more need to shoot on film. Until it was. You see, film has a certain look to it, and a lot of directors kind of miss that look.
I miss it.
Film has a certain look. It feels nostalgic and warm compared to digital cameras' look, which is sharp and cold or surgical. Think of film and digital as two pairs of sneakers, right? Digital is like the new, flashy, crisp pair of Air Force Ones. Film is like the worn-in pair, the tried and true, been through it all, that you run through the mud with, feels comfortable on your feet. People in Hollywood actually complain about digital looking too digital. It doesn't feel cinematic. Which brings me to this new plugin I use called Dehancer. And no, they didn't pay me to do a glowing review about it, but they did ask me my opinion. And honestly, I love it.
I love it.
It's like a filter for your video. So digital doesn't have to look digital anymore. It actually now can look like film. For example, you like the way Terminator looks? You want your movie to look similar to Terminator?
I'll be back.
That was shot on film. How about Matrix? Fight Club.
It was on the tip of everyone's tongue.
Skyfall, Mission Impossible, Joker. You like the way those movies look? They were shot on film. You want your movie to look the same way? You probably got to shoot it on film. Wait, that's expensive. In comes Dehancer. So what they did is they took all of these different film looks. They took all of these different film stocks and they recreated them digitally. So now with Dehancer, you can take your digital footage and give it any of those film looks. There's so many types of film. Every director doesn't use the same film. But Dehancer has all of them built inside of the software. And on top of that, you can tweak it so you can personalize or customize it to the way that you want it to be. Here's a little pro tip. If you want to find out what your favorite movie was shot on, the camera, the film stock, go to shotonwhat.com and punch in the movie title and you can find out exactly what camera they use, what lens they use, and what film stock if they shot it on film. Mind blown. Let me be honest. I'm not a colorist. I'm a director, I'm a cinematographer, I'm a writer, I'm a producer. I'm many things, but I am not a colorist. I do not know how to convert nodes to color, space, transform, Autobots, Optimus Prime.
I am Optimus Prime.
I don't know anything about that, but I do know how to do enough editing to get the color to look the way that I want it to look. And I promise you, Dehancer made it that much easier. A funny thing happened when I got the software and I was looking through all of the different film stocks, Kodak, Fujifilm, all of the different profiles that they have in there. It made me curious to see like what was the most popularly used, is that the word, popularly? What was the most popular film stock used in cinema? So I did what any good person would do I went to Google and Googled it. And look at that. Kodak Portrait? I don't know how you say it, but that's the most popular stock. So you know what I did next. I went to Dehancer to see if they had that film stock. Let me just take you to the software. I'm just going to jump straight to the film profiles. We just looked up the most popular film stocks used in cinema, and look, they got it in here. Kodak Portra 400. So I just drop it right on. This section right here, film compression, I believe it has a lot to do with the highlights. So if you want to retrieve your highlights, it helps you in that area. Film print is another important part because the film profile is one part and then the film print is another part, because that's the actual stock of the paper or the film that the film profile is printed on. So if you fool around with this, you could also get a different look. Film grain, you could turn that off and on. Sometimes I turn it off depending on the look I'm trying to get. Halation and bloom, they kind of work together to give you like that halo misty type of feel. But me, I use a Pro Mist filter, so I don't really need it unless I'm trying to enhance it a little bit more, give it more of a dreamy look. But you could also dial it down to whatever suits your preference. Damage, that's when film is like really old over time. It has stuff added into it that kind of destroys it and it damages the film. So you'll see like little dust and hairs and jitters and stuff like that, but you usually see that on much older footage, and at a certain extent it's kind of gimmicky. You'll see it like on those old Charlie Chaplin movies. You've got the breath, you've got the gate weave, and then you've got the overscan. I like the overscan. You could use it for like a specialized look, maybe a music video, a promo shot for a product, or you know, something like maybe you're doing a Halloween video. It's kind of cool. I use it here and there, but not all the time. The vignette, I love that because that's kind of signature to film cinema. Gives it that dark edges. You can slide it how dark you want it. If you push it to lighten and brighten, it can now look a little bit more like a dream. Now, under this section, you got false colors. I love this because when I'm shooting, I always shoot with false colors. I have a switch on my camera, I turn it on, I check my shots. I'll never shoot without using false colors. Now, using false colors here, it can help you get your exposure right, but that's a whole nother video I'm not getting into right now. But I love having this inside the plugin. As you can see, there's a lot of controls that can help you dial in the look exactly the way you want. I don't use them all because I haven't learned them all yet, but I'm still studying. I promise you in about a month or two, I'll master them and then I'll be able to tell you exactly what all of them do. But for right now, the stuff that I did learn, it's enough for me to get the look that I'm trying to get. So I really enjoy Dehancer, and I can't wait until I really learn it, because then I'm really gonna enjoy it. Here's the funny thing. Dehancer actually started off as a software for images, so staying true to their origins, they have a Photoshop plugin. Now, I use Photoshop a lot. I mean a lot. Mostly for graphics, but also for like touching up photos, fixing things, smoothing skin, removing items, adding stuff, especially with the new generative fill. I use Photoshop all the time. I never really used it to make an image look like it was from an older time, but I was intrigued to see what I can do with Dehancer. I was so impressed by what it did with video, I said, well, let me see what this plugin can do with photos. So I ran through it. It was pretty simple once I got it installed. And I like the fact that you can preview the look before you actually put it onto your photo. I wish they had that feature inside the video version, but it is what it is. As you can see, it was fairly simple to use, straightforward. Wasn't a whole lot of this and that you had to figure out. It was actually a lot easier than the video plugin. But I don't really see myself using it a lot. Where I do see me using it though is for boudoir photography. Is that how you say it? Boudoir, boudoir. You know what I'm talking about, that sexy black and white stuff. I've been really wanting to add some photos like that to my photography resume. I haven't done any. I've been asked a few times, but I've just never done it. Now, instead of doing it all in camera, with this plugin, I can do it in post. I'm excited to try that. Anybody want a photo shoot in the Atlanta, New York City area? Hit me up. I got you. Boudoir. And lastly, I just found out from the good people over at Dehancer that they have an iPhone app now. So I downloaded it because I'm going to get to making my movies on that phone. You hear me? So my final thoughts on Dehancer. Incredible plugin. I love it. I swear to you, I'm going to use it all the time. Now, here's the thing. DaVinci recently came out with the film creator, and I was using that for a while. Personally, I think that they got that idea from Dehancer. But when I did the comparison between the two, Dehancer is way, way, way better than the film creator that's inside of DaVinci. And if you are an independent filmmaker and you want to step up the look, you want to get rid of that digital look, I'm telling you, Dehancer Pro is the way to go. Oh, and by the way, you can use my promo code Mazio at the checkout for a discount. Now, my opinion on digital versus film. Here's the thing. With software like Dehancer, 95% of the people who are watching your content cannot tell the difference between digital or film and digital that was made to look like it was shot on film. Nobody's gonna know the difference, trust me. And once AI really gets into the game, like another 4 or 5 years, even the professionals are not gonna be able to tell the difference. And on that note, thanks for watching my video. Always think outside the box and stay creative. Make sure you pick up a copy of my Filmmaker's Journal on Amazon right now, or book a one-on-one call and we can talk about your project. Catch you later. Like, comment, share, subscribe.